Welcome to the BPT course. My name's Kieran Doe. I'm a senior tutor at ACA Masters, a multiple ICAEW prize winner, and I look forward to getting you through your BPT exam with top marks. So the way that the BPT course is structured is it breaks BPT down into smaller topics. So this can be by the tax or topic and the question type, and we also look at some common exam scenarios. So breaking it down like this makes it much more manageable. So it can be broken down into personal taxes, so income tax, CGT and IHT, corporation tax, looking at both UK and international aspects, and then the common exam scenarios that come up time and time again in the BPT exam, like tax issues when starting a business or changing business structure and then exiting a business. So the way that each class is structured is I'll firstly provide some technical tuition where I'll take the technical content and greatly simplify it so it's easy for you to understand. And then immediately after, I'll work through some recent exam questions so I can demonstrate how to apply that technical content to exam questions. So the course is very exam technique focused as we focus heavily on working through exam questions so you can see the optimal exam technique to use for your BPT exam. So for example, in the corporation tax losses class, so when we're looking at losses in groups, I'll firstly explain the key technical content, so how a loss can be used by a company, the different options for using a certain type of loss, so current year, carry forward, carry back, group leave, etc., as well as the types of things you should consider when deciding how best to use a loss. So I'll make sure that you understand this technical content in an exam focused way, and then immediately after I'll work through some recent exam questions so I can demonstrate how to apply that technical content to an exam question. So I'll work through the exam questions in full. So I'll explain how you should read and interpret the requirements, how you should allocate the marks to each section, and then how you should dissect the question so you can decide which parts you need to read now, which parts you can leave for later. So that would help optimize your use of time in the exam. And then I'll demonstrate how you should read through the question, how to identify which points are important and for where. I will then produce my answer to the question so that I can demonstrate how to apply that technical content to the specific exam scenario and explain the type of points you should include in your answer, the way that you should structure your points to ensure that you get the marks and in as little time as possible, and show you how to work through all of the different issues in the question and ensure that you answer every part of the question and produce exactly what the examiner is looking for. So I'll explain how to structure your points, the type of points to include, when to include numbers and how to present them, how to lay out your answer and how to structure your answer so that you can pick up as many marks as possible and also, as importantly, in as little time as possible. So the way that the class, and this is how each technical class is structured, I'll teach you that technical content in a really straightforward, easy to understand way. And then immediately after, I'll demonstrate how you should be answering exam questions on that topic and the exam technique you should be using in order to maximize your marks. After you've watched me work through an exam question on a topic, you can then go and attempt other similar exam questions so that you can practice my exam technique. So you could then go away after the losses and groups class and then go and practice the other questions which have examined losses and groups. And you can apply my exam technique to those other questions and therefore watch your marks drastically improve. And by breaking it down like this will enable you to master BPT one topic at a time. BPT is a huge syllabus and you'll be overwhelmed if you try to go through all the technical content and then start doing all different types of questions. It's much more manageable, much easier to break it down like this and just focus on one topic at a time. Understand the technical content as I explain it in a nice, easy to understand way, and then work through questions on that topic so you can see how to apply the technical content to the exam questions and see the types of points that you should include in your answer and the way that the questions are structured, etc. So then immediately after the class, you then just go away and practice the questions. And all you're really doing is just applying that exam technique that I have taught you during the class. And then you can just work through all the classes, one by one, losses and groups, and you can move on to like international structure. So set up a P versus a sub. Again, I'll explain it in a nice, easy to understand way. So you know the types of technical points or the technical issues that are at play here. And then immediately after, I'll work through some questions, and then you can go away and practice the other questions. And you'll just be answering them in exactly the same way that I did. So you'll be able to see how I dissect the question, how I allocate the marks, how I decide which points are relevant for each part of the answer, the type of points I include in my answer, how I use the open book notes in the exam, how I kind of leverage off these in order to generate points. So you'll see and completely understand exactly what you need to do in your BPT exam, and you're just going away and practicing that. And it's so much more manageable doing it one topic at a time. So we'll go through and cover all of the topics. So income tax, all of the topics there, like employment intermediaries. I'll simplify that content, make it much easier for you to understand, work through some questions. Then you go away and practice some questions, and then therefore you would have mastered this topic, and you can move on to the next topic, like trading losses, and then the next topic, pensions, and we'll just keep working through each BPT topic and technical area one at a time. And then we'll finish off with the common exam scenarios, such as starting a business, exiting a business, buying a business. And you'll see the huge overlaps between these areas and how they just really draw on that earlier content that we covered earlier in the course. So the course is going to make BPT much more manageable for you, and I look forward to getting you through it with top marks. So if you haven't already signed up for the course, then you can watch some free sample classes on the BPT page of our website. So you can see all of that information is available here. So you can watch classes on losses and groups, working through that question I just demonstrated there. It's one on family investment companies, and also one from an earlier year on starting a business. So these are all additional question classes. So you can watch those there, but some of the earlier classes explain the technical content. The sample classes mainly just focus on working through exam questions, but then you can start to see the exam technique that I use for BPT and how that will help you get a very high mark in the BPT exam. And you'll see that lots of our students drastically improve their marks, are going from like 54 to 96 when they did the course with us. We've had a few more up to 95 after failing previously, fourth attempt, 84%. So you can really see how much value the course adds and how it will really help you boost your mark in this very difficult exam, and how our approach of breaking it down makes this very vast syllabus so much more manageable. So very much looking forward to getting you through BPT exam with a top mark.